Hey fam, what's going on? It's Wednesday, it's hump day. I figured I'd come on here real quick uh, just to let you guys know how annoyed I am with some of these job assessments. Have y'all ever just felt so stressed to do an assessment for a bullshit job that don't really require much? Like, I don't understand, why some of these jobs make it so difficult for something so simple. Like, for example, I finally got around to the so-called quote-unquote assessments. For one of them, I think it was like a sales job for some kind of a construction company, I think, or concrete company. I don't know. But anyway, the damn assessment was like a total of 300 questions. I was not prepared. The first half was actually 270 questions, and I was thinking maybe it was going to be like yes, no, maybe, disagree. No. Those were like scenario questions where they make you think, and it was just so complicated. It made my damn brain spin. It made my brain hurt. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to apply for nothing else. Even though I have a new job lined up, it's not scheduled to start until sometime next week. I believe on the 4th I start that job. I don't know. It's full time, which is nice. However, the pay is not all there. I ain't gonna lie. The pay is like maybe 20 an hour or less. And I'm looking just for like a little part-time side hustle. That's it, because this DoorDash shit ain't gonna get it. I'm gonna be honest. The DoorDash stuff is getting on my damn last nerves, and I just feel like it's a waste of time. It's a waste of gas. I only come out when the weather is nice. As you can see, the weather is not so nice. That's why my black ass is inside. It's been raining all day. Hell, it's been raining all week. And that's why I've been cooped up inside of my apartment this whole time, dealing with recovery from surgery. It's just been a lot, and then on top of the bullshit ass assessments I've been dealing with that's been making my brain spin, I'm gonna tell you another thing I don't like about these jobs now. I apply to stuff like Macy's and Best Buy for like part-time gigs, right? Just for some extra cash. Why are some of the easiest customer service jobs like Best Buy, where they just literally walk around with walkie-talkies on all day long and do customer service, they now require you to do on-demand video interviews? What are these? Well, let me tell y'all. I was prepared, but not really. So, on demand video interviews are basically a fancy technique for employers to be kind of lazy now. And you're just submitting recorded responses. You're not talking to nobody. You're just literally on a video answering the pre recorded questions. And the thing I didn't like about Best Buy only gives you one chance to answer the question. If you mess up, that's it. It's recorded, it's done. You can't go back and fix it. That pissed me off. It was easy, don't get me wrong. It was like 8 questions, but I I don't like talking to myself on the video. I don't like it. It's just annoying. Why can't I just talk on the phone like normal folks and call it a day? Like, why are some of these employers just being lazy? I feel like they don't want to make no effort no more to actually talk to people, have a real conversation about the actual damn job itself. And no, instead, now the new technique of weeding out the candidates, quote unquote, are video responses. Literally. Now, Macy's was weird. Macy's was another on demand interview as well, but it wasn't on a video. It was just literally a voice recorder. You record your voice for questions that they asked, and they only asked me like 5 or 6 questions, and they were easy as well. But I'm just like, so what are we doing now? Are we basing the candidates based on intelligence from the way they sound on the video? Or are we really paying attention? Like, what is the deal? Why can't I just go to fucking inside somewhere and say, hey, A nigga is looking for a side hustle. Are you hiring or nah? Why do we have to go through so many goddamn assessments? I'm frustrated. And that's why I wanted to come on here real quick to express my frustration with the whole hiring process. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I don't see nobody else on YouTube talking about this shit. And it's pissing me off. And I felt like I needed to explain myself because I feel like a lot of this BS is unnecessary as fuck, especially when we are in a times of need and the economy is upside down and we're trying to fucking survive. You know, excuse my language, but I'm over it. Okay, I'm over it. You know, it's like, how am I supposed to feel? You know, a nigga is already going through enough. Like, you know, times are rough. You know, I fell behind on a few things. I'm not gonna lie. The lone man is not happy. I get a million phone calls a day. I keep putting every number that comes on my phone on block. I have so many debt collectors. It's not even funny. But that's not the point. The point is that a sister is stressed out and I'm tired of doing these bullshit ass assessments. Why can't we just get a simple yes or a simple no? Like, I'm just like, why? I know it's 2025 and we have technology, we have Zoom, we have Teams, we have all these fancy software programs that everybody has to be aware of. But when it comes to hiring standards, I barely get a phone interview now. I'll be honest, I've only had one phone interview, one, out of all the jobs I applied to. And that was today. And let me tell y'all about that phone interview. First of all, I ain't gonna lie, it was shitty. I don't feel like I did my best because one, I was not motivated. And two, I was half-assed asleep and tired when the nigga called me. This man called me for a custom sales specialist position. A fancy term is saying sales. And the company was like a menswear fashion company, which I didn't mind, doing. But I'm thinking in the back of my mind, oh, it's just retail, like Men's Warehouse, like retail shit you see in the mall. No, completely different type of job. So he said this was a real sales job where you actually have to get people fitted for like tuxedos and shit, like rich people shit. And then he was like, you would have to travel outside of the warehouse, or not the warehouse, but the actual store where they make the custom outfits, to an actual tailor shop because they don't have their own tailor. I don't know why, which makes no sense. And I'm just like, okay, so what am I getting out of all this? What are the incentives? Like, what are we talking? Because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe this is a good opportunity to make some real, quick cash. Wrong. This man said that the pay structure, this is why I tell people always ask what the salary is or the pay structure is when it comes to sales. This motherfucker said 15 an hour plus 10% commission. That ain't shit, okay? I don't give a damn how many people you talk to a day. I am not a sales expert, nor have I ever worked in sales. The closest thing I've done to real sales jobs was probably retail. And that was years ago. I worked part-time for CVS Pharmacy once upon a time back in Austin when I lived in Texas. And that was over 10 years ago. I ain't done retail since then, nor have I done a sales job. So when he told me that, I was like, okay, look, I was just like, don't even call me back. Talking about they're going to go over with the VP of sales and they're going to make their determination. If they decide to move forward, they'll have the VP call me back for another interview. Don't call me back. Keep that interview. I don't want it. Return to sender. Because one, you motherfuckers don't pay enough. Two, I am stressed out and I need some real hard earned cash. Like real money. I'm talking like at least 20 or more an hour plus commission plus bonus if we're going to do this bullshit. And that's why I try to tell people to be careful when it comes to certain jobs because a lot of it's a scam. And a lot of it, in my opinion, it's a real job, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the pay and the structure and stuff, it's a scam. The managers are winning regardless of the situation. You're the loser. I hate to break it to you. You're always going to be the fucking loser. But if you're looking for like some real deal, like 6-figure salary type shit, like what my homegirl is doing, my white friend Amber, who never watches my channel, thank God, she lives down in Florida, and she's a great example of getting the bag when it comes to sales. Now she's been doing it for a long time, and she actually kind of convinced me to switch gears towards sales. Now, I'm not a fan of sales. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't have the gift of gab. I don't know how to talk people into shit, but I can try my best to persuade you. I don't know if it's gonna work. But anyway, her story is that before she converted to sales, she actually did something completely different. She was actually a former military. Me and her were actually stationed together. And she did about 15 years. And then after she retired and got out on a medical discharge, I believe, I can't remember what she got out for, she transitioned into the automotive sales industry. Now, that is cutthroat. I'm going to tell you right now, looking from the outside as a customer on how many quotas that the people have to fill just to sell a car to you, I can't imagine working with car sales. Car sales makes money, don't get me wrong, but she wasn't on the actual floor, the showroom floor with the cars. She was actually doing the sales advisor stuff. Now that's worse. Okay, because when I say that she was stressed out and she would always complain to me and tell me that she was literally pulling her brain cells out behind her job, it was bad. And she told me like people would just cuss her out randomly over repairs, and if they didn't get a good survey, their commission would be screwed over or some shit like that. I don't know. But the whole point is, depending on the industry will determine whether or not it's a good fit for you. Pretty much in my opinion. And I feel like hearing her experience, I was just like, yeah, no, I don't think I'll ever do automotive sales. So then she transitioned from automotive sales to education, recruitment. She basically turned into like a sales consultant, but more like a kind of like an enrollment advisor for high school students to like recruit them for like college, for like I think the college she went to was UTI, Universal Technical Institute. It's like a trade school where they learn like welding and like mechanic stuff I would never do. But anyway, she's been doing that for quite some time. And I'll tell you right now, she's making hella bank. She told me like alone just with her salary, this is without commission. I think she said she makes like $80K a year with her salary. Now, mind you, the biggest difference with that is that she has to do a lot of traveling. Now, I don't know if people are into traveling. I personally don't mind traveling because I'm single and I have nothing better to do. I don't have a life. I don't have kids. I don't have nothing going on. So traveling doesn't bother me. But when you have to travel for so long and damn near every day of the week, that I might have a problem with. That's a little bit wear and tear, in my opinion. And for her, she enjoyed it at first. She's been doing it for quite some time. I want to say at least 6 months or more. But now she's kind of getting run down and ragged because the biggest difference between me and her, she actually has a family. I don't. She has a husband. She has 2 kids. But her 2 kids are practically grown. And with her, I completely understand where she's coming from because when you have a family, you need family time. You want to spend time with your kids, your husband, whatever. You want to have vacations. You want to have that perfect work-life balance. And I think with her job, doing this type of sales recruitment. It's aggressive to the point where she's traveling so much, she's starting to hate it. And now she's just like, okay, I need to find something else. So she actually flew up to LA this morning. LA, not LA as in Los Angeles, not Louisiana, because people think LA as in Louisiana. No, LA as in Los Angeles. She went up there because she has a potential job with another company. And she basically told me that this job would be offering her anywhere between 150 to 200K. And I said, God damn, put a nigga on. Like, help a sister out. Like, how can I get the fucking white people jobs that you get? I understand you got privilege already because you're white. But I don't understand, like, how we both practically came from the same background. We both served in the military. And the biggest difference with her is that my background was HR. She did a little bit of HR, but her main job was MP, military police. She did a lot of cop work. So I'm just baffled how somebody like her, and I'm not even trying to compare myself to my friend, but I'm just like, why does she get all the good shit? Why does she get the higher paying jobs? Is it white privilege? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is white privilege at this point because I'm confused. I've been trying to get the bag for God knows how long. And this fool talking about she about to get like 150 to 200K for some sales. I said, what kind of sales is this shit? I said, make sure that shit ain't no Ponzi scheme. I told her to be very careful and be very wary because there are Ponzi schemes out here. You have to be very leery of people that say outrageous numbers for sales jobs because it's not realistic most of the time. But she did tell me that it's legit. The company is legit. She did tell me that the owner is the one who actually flew her up there. He's the one who got her a ticket, got her hotel and everything. She didn't have to pay a dime. I was like, what? I said, wait a minute, hold on. How the fuck do you pull off a free flight and a free hotel and free transportation from the hotel to the actual job where you're going to be meeting this bigwig CEO or VP? How do you pull that shit off? Answer, riddle me this. Do I have to change up the color? Do I have to change up the color and just put other on the application? What do I have to do is my question. What do I need to say? Because every time I answer, these bullshit job applications online, I always select prefer not to answer when it comes to color or when it comes to like identity purposes. You know how to ask you like if you're black, you're white, Hispanic. I hate that shit. The demographic survey, I never answered that shit. And I'd be wondering, what do motherfuckers say on there? Do they actually say whether they're white or not? Because I'm about to start saying I'm fucking white at this point, okay? I'm very annoyed how motherfuckers like my white friend gets these fucking privileged ass jobs and don't do shit. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm just like, what does it take a bitch to get in this position? Like, do you know how much struggle we as black people have to go through every fucking day to survive just to make like 18 an hour, 20 an hour, maybe 25, give or take, depending on what job you're looking for and how many degrees we need to get. Now, I will say she is educated. My white friend is educated. She does have a bachelor's degree in accounting the last time I checked. She does have plenty of experience when it comes to sales because she's done it before. So that I will give her the grace. I will give her the credit for her background. But it still doesn't explain how you go from military life to car sales, automotive sales, okay, to enrollment advisor, to now some fancy ass bigwig traveling sales consultant that does I don't know what for some kind of automotive shit. I think she said it was like a trainer position or some shit like that. I don't know. But I'm just stuck on stupid. I'm just baffled. Like, why am I not getting to the bag? How do I get to the bag? How do I get like my white friend? That's what I need to know. What do I need to say to get to the bag? That's all I'm trying to figure out. I'm tired of these fucking penniless ass jobs. And I wanted to talk about it because I'm just like, you know, it's really cutthroat out here. I will admit it's very hard. And I I just, I'm tired of it. I'm frustrated. I've been sitting here these past couple of weeks, since I've been home from surgery. And I was just thinking to myself, what can I do to increase the bag other than working myself into the ground and doing 2 or 3 fucking jobs? Just trying to survive and put food on the table. I'm thankful. I do have additional resources and income such as disability, DoorDash, or whatever, Uber. But I'm sick of this hustle and bustle atmosphere. I don't like it. All I'm saying is I want one good job, just one, to where I'm making damn near 6 figures, to where I can wipe out my debt and start over in a clean slate. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to have to subject myself to working 3 and 4 and 5 jobs, feeling like a goddamn Jamaican out here. And then I'm still not bringing home the bag. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to be like my white friend who gets to get free fucking flights and transit and hotels in LA over some kind of sales trainer crap. I'm just like, let me know how it goes and hook me up, please, because I give up. I don't know what to do. Like, I've gotten so desperate to the point where I'm just like, I will do whatever at this point, as long as it's legal, within reach to get the damn goal, to get the bag. But I'm just not satisfied. And it pisses me off when motherfuckers be gatekeeping. Now, I'm not saying that my white friend gatekeep. She tells me everything. I'm going to tell you that right now. But it's not helping me get the bag. You know what I mean? Like, I noticed something about white people in general. Now, I'm not saying this pertains to all white people, but when it comes to black people and black jobs and white jobs, there's a difference. Now, I will give her the grace and say, for the record, my white friend's husband is black. She's in an interracial relationship. Now, however, she will tell you the steps to get the bag, but she won't pretty much give you the referrals. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of understand where she's coming from because this is all new to her. She doesn't really know anybody. This is her first time going to LA. She's never done anything like this. So I completely understand where she's coming from. But I'm just like, help a sister out. Tell me what I need to do to get started. Let me know where I need to go. Let me know who I need to fucking talk to, because I'm trying to change my life for the better. Okay? I refuse to go back to some raggedy ass warehouse bullshit. Okay? All right. And I'm grateful for any little bullshit office job that I get. And it's not a problem. I don't mind working, minimum wage and all that stuff. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody and I'm too good to work for 20 an hour and 25 an hour below. But all I'm saying is that I'm trying to get the bag a little bit faster. And I'm trying to make myself a little bit happier, because right now these are not happy times. Okay? These are not happy times. But I will say, have you some white friends, okay? If you don't have any white friends in high positions like my white friend that I have in Florida, get you some white friends, because they're going to point you in the right direction. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not saying black friends don't point you in the right direction. I'm not going to be biased, but I will admit, not all your black friends want you to win. And most of your black friends are too busy trying to compete. That's the sad part. I thank God, I have a couple of black friends I can count on one hand that are actually there for me and not against me, or not trying to compete with me, and actually try to give me some solid advice. But sometimes it takes a white friend or a person of another color who is in a higher position to get you where you need to be. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like as Black people, we need to educate ourselves and find some more white friends in higher positions. Because am I wrong or am I right? I feel like we are all looking at things the wrong way. We are not, trying to at least figure out a way to get the bag with help. Like, I know some people are prideful. Some people won't ask for help. Some people will, act like they got it all together. They're so independent, whoopty-whoopty-woo. They don't need nobody's help, and they can get the bag themselves, which is nice and dandy. But when you're in desperate times and everything is upside down and you're trying to recover and rebuild, is pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to rebuild and recover and recoup savings. You will pretty much reach out for help. And all I'm saying is sometimes it doesn't hurt to ask for help. Sometimes if you need to talk to somebody, make sure you talk to somebody that is actually in a higher position than you, not somebody in the same level as you or worse. Because I'm going to tell you, anybody on the street, especially somebody that ain't doing shit with themselves, somebody that ain't working at all, that cannot do shit for you, is not going to help you. I'm going to be honest. Now, anybody that is working that may have the potential to get to the bag might be able to help you. But again, they're still struggling. And I feel like as Black people, we continue to struggle every single day, but we don't seek people in higher positions because we're too busy looking down upon them. And I feel like now is the time to really get with your white friends, okay? Or any other color outside of your peoples, all right, that are in higher positions. And I'm not saying that all Black people are in higher positions. All I'm saying is that our own kind sometimes won't even help us. There are a lot of Black people in very high, powerful positions, even CEO positions. Until this day, the same motherfuckers that be kiki and caca in your face will not even help you, okay? I hate to say it. I hate to break it to you, but it's true. But it really takes a special person to really break it down to you. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because when I say my white friend is there for me, she is there for me, okay? She is literally giving me the whole blueprint, layout, play-by-play of what to do, how to get myself started. It's like she even gave me advice on how to, present myself with business cards to complete strangers, and I don't even have a business. Shit like that, I feel like it's so important because I'm going to be honest, none of my Black friends have actually told me any of this stuff that my white friend has told me, okay? None of my Black friends have told me how to present myself to strangers when it comes to relationship building rapport, getting clients. None of this shit has been told by any of my Black friends, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. And no shade to them. But I think most of the time, most of it is because as Black people, we are misunderstood or miseducated, or we just don't have the damn knowledge. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes we just don't know. And that's okay. If you don't know, say that you don't know. I'm not going to get mad at all. All I'm saying is that sometimes you got to put the light bulb on and look at the bigger picture and reach out to somebody that does have the knowledge, that actually does know what the fuck they're doing, like my white friend, and reach out to that person and say, hey, how did you get started in sales? How did you build your business? How did you do this? How did you do that? Da-da-da-da-da. Prime example, instead of looking at them, gossiping about them, oh, she thinks she better than us because she got the big bag and she's doing all this traveling. No, because all that's going to do, in my opinion, is just going to bring you down. And I don't even do that type of shit. I always want the best out of everybody. I always want to see everybody win. But for me personally, to get myself back in a happy quote unquote space, I want the bag too. I want to be part of the white friend community. I want to travel and hop on a plane and go random places like Chicago and New York to meet with clients and potential investors and do sales shit and make a ton of money versus sitting in a stuck up ass environment like it's a goddamn dungeon, like it's a jail cell. That's one thing I will say I'm sick and tired of. I'm sick and tired of a lot of these office jobs that want you to stay stuck in slave labor and control like a damn robot. That's all I'm saying. Because one thing about me, boo boo, don't nobody control shit but me, okay? And I will happily do whatever I need to be done, whatever anybody asks me to do. You know, it's not a problem. All I'm saying is that I want some more motherfucking freedom. Okay. My white friend, she's having the life. Okay. She has a lot of freedom to do what the fuck she wants to do. And the craziest part is that if she gets this, trainer job that I was telling you guys about, she will not only have to travel city to city, but state to state. Now, I think that's a little bit worse. I think that's a little bit out of my league there. I mean, I don't mind traveling city to city and state to state, but I feel like it's a little overboard in my opinion. However, she said if she's traveling across country and doing this training at different facilities for this sales job as a consultant, she said that she gets to have, I think, 2 or 3 weeks off out of the month or something like that. So I said, wait a minute. So basically, you're on the road traveling for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and you literally get a week or two to yourself after you do this traveling training crap. She was like, yeah. I was like, wow, that's a lot. So in reality, in my opinion, from what it sounds like a good deal. It sounds like it's more freedom. It sounds like it's more opportunity. And I feel like it's not so prison-like. You know what I mean? Where you're just stuck and you're got a ball and chain around your leg and you're around a desk 24/7, clocking and punching the clock and, doing, your activities, your duties or whatever, and then going home and doing the same shit over and over again. Nothing wrong with that. I love the 9 to 5 life. I don't mind clocking in, clocking out, having my weekends, whatever. The thing I don't like is when I know when I start getting back to work, I'm not going to get what I'm expected because of taxes. The taxes out here, whoo, killer. And this is why I'm so stressed out about everything, because when you look at the numbers, okay, numbers mean a lot, especially depending on the state that you live in. For example, in Virginia has state tax and federal tax and personal property tax, 3 different tax brackets, okay, which I did not know until I got here. I should have did my research a little bit thoroughly. But my friend over here that lives here did warn me. She said, do your research before you move here. Now, it's affordable. Cost of living is okay, depending on what part of Virginia you're in. Now, thank God I'm in, Southern Virginia, well, Central Richmond. But if I was in Northern Virginia, anywhere closer to like DC or like Baltimore, oh God, I would cry. It is so expensive up there. I wouldn't dare live up there. But my whole point is that even if I made, like, say, I don't know, 50 something thousand a year, 60 something thousand a year, hell, 70 something thousand a year, the taxes are still going to kill me regardless. So in reality, if I'm making 40 something thousand a year and I'm supposed to be getting about, I don't know, 800 a week, guess what? After state taxes and federal taxes, I'm only seeing about 500 on my check here in Virginia. That's just like the post office. Prime example, I was getting about 19 an hour. No, 20 an hour. I was getting about 20 an hour as a window clerk. And I got paid bi-weekly. My first check I got, now, granted, this was not technically full-time. It was more like part-time. It was more like, I want to say 32 hours a week, close to like, maybe like 30 hours a week, not even 40. And after tax, get this, all I got was $600. That's all I got for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I was done. I was floored. I said, I can't live like this. I said, if this is what my checks are going to look like out here, and that's just on 30 something hours a week. Just imagine 40 hours a week. Yeah. Baby, you got to get your hours. You're either going to have to literally work 2 jobs or more to make sure you have like adequate income for your expenses, or just find one good ass job like my white friend who's making well over 6 figures and call it a day. Now, my homeboy that lives close to DC, he's black. He makes a pretty decent amount too. He makes close to 6 figures. But he even told me that even with his salary up here, making good ass money, I'm talking like maybe close to 100K after tax, he sees a decent amount, but he's got to pay in about 25 to 30K in tax. That's a lot of money to pay in. So it's just like, you pick your poison. Do you want to earn more money and get the bag and pay more in tax? Or do you want to earn less money and pay less in tax, but still don't come home with pennies? It's just like, you just have to pick your battles of what you're looking for. And in my opinion, all I'm saying is that if you're going to work somewhere like here or anywhere along the East Coast, think twice and make sure that the job you get is adequate as far as salary. Like, don't get these little bullshit out, like 15 an hour jobs, 16 an hour jobs, because you're really not going to see shit. Working 15, 16 an hour out here is probably about $300 check at minimum. In Texas, however, it's completely different. Texas is no state tax. And same thing with Florida. Florida is no state tax. It was nice when I lived in Texas. When I was making like 20 an hour, I would say like 22 an hour in my last job as a receptionist at the hospital, I was bringing home $1,500 a month. No, I was bringing home $1,500 every 2 weeks. Yeah, I was bringing home a lot of money in Texas. But my hours significantly declined because what happened with my hospital job before my layoff, they cut my hours. And when I say they cut my hours drastically. I went from 40 hours a week to like 25, sometimes as low as 20. And then those checks started dwindling. They started going from $1,400 every 2 weeks to like $800 or less. I'm talking like $700 or $800. It was bad. And that's when I told myself, you know what, I'm not working no more hospital jobs, because I came to the conclusion that working in medical in certain areas, depending on where you're working at and what you're doing, administration is not it. There's no damn money in that shit. I'm gonna be honest. And my job was easy. All I had to do was schedule patients for appointments and, do all kinds of other fun stuff or whatever. But it wasn't stable. And it wasn't a real hospital. I'll be honest. It was more like a nursing home. It's like one of those rehab centers where they do like physical therapy for old folks. But I learned quickly on, don't work at a rehab center, especially if they don't have the money. If they lack funding and it's a very small clinic, it's a red flag. Don't do it. Because I learned so many lessons before I left Texas. I learned that if you work somewhere where they really don't have no real money, don't expect anything more. Don't expect anything less. If you work at a Fortune 500 corporation that has tons of money, expect lots of money, but beware of layoffs, because right now we're in a messed up, economy. So today you can have your job, tomorrow you can lose it. That's how bad it is. Like, it's horrible. And that's why I try to warn people, always have a backup plan in place. make sure you have your little side hustles, whether you DoorDash, you Uber, you Lyft, have something in place because you just don't know what the future holds. But that's all I got. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm sorry. I spent like damn near 40 minutes on this video talking with you guys. But I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to get some things off my chest because I felt hella frustrated after those dumbass job assessments. And then I just went all the way left and just started dibbling and dabbling in my thoughts. But I will talk to y'all next time. Y'all enjoy. Have a good one. Bye.